Well, welcome everybody to the National Student Data Corps Masterclass Series. My name is Florence Hudson, and I'm Executive Director of the Northeast Big Data Innovation Hub and actually founder of the National Student Data Corps. Here with me today are Emily Rothenberg, who's our NSDC Program Manager, and our guest speaker for this masterclass, John Daniels, who's Professor of Statistics at Central Michigan University, also called CMU, so you might hear that today. So the masterclass series was created this fall in 2023 to bring experts to you to talk about how data can be used specifically in different fields. We have data science career panels at the National Student Data Corps, which is more like a buffet, where there'll be a few different people talking about how to use data in different fields. The masterclass series enables a master like John to actually go deep into a field. So whether you're in middle school or high school and you think this is cool, or if you're in college and you're thinking you might want to learn how to use data and maybe go into this field, or you already are in sports and you'd like to know how data can be used for good, these are all really cool opportunities for all of you and all of us. So today we have John talking about looking for an edge, mastering data science for fame, fortune, and championships. Who doesn't want to do that, right, John? This is excellent. So now we're going to pass it over to John. We'll stop sharing our screen. He'll share his slides and take us through some really cool information.
Thank you, Florence. Good morning, everybody. As Florence has mentioned, I'm John Daniels. I'm a statistics professor at Central Michigan University. I've been here for about 20 years, and I'm here today to talk to you about data science in a sports context because Dr. Daniels cannot hit a curveball, all right? If I could hit a curveball, I'd be doing something different, but I can't. So I'm going to talk to you about data science today, and it's a really growing, ascending area of study. You might have heard of data science. Lots of colleges and universities have data science programs now. But what is data science? Well, if you think about it, just about everything, any entity, any process, anything that's going on has data. And the process of analyzing data is very important for, number one, trying to find relationships between things, but also being able to predict the future. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? If I knew right now who was going to win the Super Bowl, you know what I would do. I'd be heading to Las Vegas to make a lot of money, but I can't do that. So I'm going to try to use data science to help me in that regard. So, what do we use data science for? Well, the three areas that I like to say that are most important for that data science is player development, predictive models, and then one of my research areas is historic data. Now, I do a lot of work with the CMU, Central Michigan University baseball team, the Chippewas. In fact, this all got started when the coaches came to me and said, "Hey, could you help us with our analytics? We're really trying to learn how to use analytics to make our team better. And we have some equipment and we'd like you to try to help us analyze this data to try to how do we make our pitchers throw the ball faster? How do we help our pitchers spin the ball faster so it curves?" So that's where it all got started. But if you want to drill down deeper into data science for sports analytics, we can get into things like advanced scouting. There you see Steph Curry throwing up a three. What are the tendencies of teams? What do they do? We all know about football models, down and distance. All right. What do teams do certain down, certain distance? So in that regard, we're predicting the future. Evolution of the game. I threw this picture up here. Maybe some of you New Yorkers know who that is. There's only one person that looks like that at the plate, and his name is Babe Ruth. So he's probably one of the most famous Yankees of all time, but that's Babe. Didn't have much analytics back then, but I can go back and look at his statistics and do a lot of analysis on him and see how he would fare in today's game. Obviously, in the NHL, hitting a shot, shot velocity is an important metric for studying hockey players. So what it comes down to is that data scientists try to ask the right questions. So we're at the table with these people and we're asking questions. And then we're going to develop models and software to try to answer these questions. So we're going to help the players get better. We're going to help the teams get better. We're going to help the teams figure out what their opponents are doing. We're trying to make things, as I said in this title, championships, right? That's what it's all about. Now we have this is just a picture from something that I use called R Shiny. It's a program. It's a statistics program. And any of you out there that might know how to program in R, understand maybe some R programming, or if you're in school and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I have to do to get better at data science? R is the software of choice of many data scientists. Also Python. You might have heard of Python before too. I'm an R person. I've been using R for 20 years and it just keeps getting better and better. But we can use R to develop web applications. So this is a slice of a picture from one of our web apps. And I didn't give you all the details here, but what this is from Central Michigan University baseball team. This is one of the pitchers. And what I was able to do is call up his name, and I'm not going to tell you his name. And then I'm going to say, what date range do I want to look at? And then this is what's called a heat map. And the more red the heat map is, the more that pitch shows up in that spot. So you can see this particular pitcher, it shows that his slider, this is from the pitcher's perspective, is going a little bit to the right of the strike zone. Now, when I looked at that the first time, I said, gee, I don't know, a slider is supposed to be down, right? It's supposed to slide, right? That's what they call it, a slider. But I showed this to the pitching coach on our baseball team, and he's like, no, no, no. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. This pitcher is left-handed, and we want the pitch to go to the glove side. So that slider is actually doing what I would want to see it do. It's actually moving. So what the coaches will do is look at this heat map, and maybe a pitcher throws on the mound for a session. We generate the heat map, and then the coach is able to sit down with the pitcher and say, okay, here's what your pitch is doing. And we're going to try some things to maybe get it to do some different things, or maybe to break more, or to do other things that we want your pitch to do. So it's all about making the player better. Here's another pretty picture from R Shiny. This is looking at the pitcher from behind the pitcher, and this is what we call the movement of the pitch. And again, you can see the blue dots, the sliders, pretty much staying right in the same place, and then the other pitches are up and away. Again, a coach would be able to look at this and diagnose what the pitch is doing, and then work with the player to help improve his performance. So CMU is doing this with their players all the time to make the players better. For these players, the ultimate is to get drafted, right? You'd like a major league team to draft you. We've had some players drafted. There were 10 players picked out of our conference last year for the major leagues. Our best pitcher was picked in the second round by the Houston Astros, and he got a signing bonus. Are you ready for this? $900,000. Now, he may never pitch a pitch in the big leagues, and a lot of them don't. But I'll tell you what, you give me $900,000, I can probably figure out a way to invest it and have myself set for the rest of my life. So there's some big money in this stuff, you know. So player development is very important. This is our studio. This is what I work with. All right. Don't be scared of it. It looks very intimidating. You got all these boxes and all this stuff going on. Believe it or not, if you were to come, for example, to Central Michigan University or Columbia or some other fine institution, I guarantee you, if you were taking data science, you would have a class where they would teach you how to use this. And by the end of the semester, or by the end of your tenure at the university, you would know how to use this and you would understand it. But this is R. This is what it looks like. And I work with this all the time. So as the slide says, don't be scared. After a little practice, you will get better at it. So there are lots of things we can do in data mining. Data science, right? We do things called data mining, where we analyze really big data sets. Machine learning, where we train the machine, the R, to analyze the data, and then we use it on a test data set, and we turn it loose on the big data set. AI is involved in this. We can use AI to analyze data. We use things called R. We use Python. You could use Java, HTML, something called SAS. I've used all of these, all right? And that's why I've got the ice cream cone over here. There are lots of flavors of data science. So I'm only giving you one aspect of it, sports analytics, but there are lots of things that you can do. So does this sound too good to be true? I don't know. Sounds pretty good to me. But I have to tell you, many schools now have a data science major. We have one, other schools have one. It does require some math and computer skills. Here at our school, you're going to be taking a couple semesters of calculus. Then we teach you R. All right. So there is some quantitative skills that are involved. It's not just show up and, fame and fortune come to you. And it helps to have a passion for this too. I love sports. I can't play. I'm never going to play in the big leagues, but I love to analyze data. So I'm still connected to it. Right. And our data science club, we meet every Wednesday. The coaches are coming over and teaching us what kind of things they look for. Next week on Wednesday, a rep from the Chicago Cubs is going to be here talking about data science and what they look for. The week after that, we got somebody from the Mets coming in. So you have to have a passion for it, and then love sports, and then want to figure out how to use this data to figure it out. So I say to you, my friends, with a little hard work and dedication, you too can be a world-class data scientist. There is lots of money involved for the players, for the data scientists. They make a good living. It is a very lucrative field, but you got to have a passion for it. You've got to be dedicated. You got to put the time and effort in. Good things will happen to you. So in summary, I say to you, big data is everywhere, even in sports. All right. Sports analytics is only limited by your imagination. If you can think about it, if you can dream it, you might make it a reality. How did all these fancy charts and graphs come about? People thought about them, right? I will tell you that the new generation of coaches and managers are into this, right? They realize how important this is. So the newer coaches, we just got a new coach here at Central Michigan. He's really into this. So he's sending his pitching coach over to see us every week to help us with this. So there has to be a connection, right? I'm the coder. Those guys are in the field. We talk back and forth. We try to get some things to help them. And finally, don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to go to a team and say, hey, could I try to help you with some sports analytics? Could we work together on this? Most teams really appreciate it when you show some interest. In fact, I've got 2 students on my sports analytics group. One's from the country of Jordan and one's from the country of India. They both want to learn baseball. They know nothing about baseball. They're going over to the baseball game tomorrow to watch the team practice. So if you know baseball, football, basketball, hockey, great. You're already halfway down the road. But even if you don't, that's okay. Teams love it when you show interest. All right. So that's what I had to say today. So thank you for your time.
John, that was fantastic. I learned so much. I'm so enthralled by the information that you can leverage. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about how you actually capture that information, kind of the mapping you have. Can someone just go with their iPhone, I don't know, or whatever, and actually, take pictures, or how do you actually do that, gather that information?
That's a great question. It does require some special hardware. For example, we had a very generous alumni purchase us a device called a TrackMan. And it's this radar system that we hang up behind home plate on the press box in front, right behind home plate. And believe it or not, this TrackMan is the eye in the sky. It watches the ball. Every time that ball moves, TrackMan tells us what it's doing. The ball is moving at 90 miles an hour. The ball is spinning at 2,500 revolutions per minute. The ball is going this way. The ball is going that way. The ball is going up. The ball is going down. It tells us everything we want to know about that ball. So that's things that a human being can't do, right? I can't look at a baseball and tell you how fast it's going or how fast it's spinning, but TrackMan can. But the other side of it is you've got to have a human being up in the press box telling TrackMan, hey, that ball was hit to left field. It was a home run. Hey, that was an out. Hey, that ball was hit and there was a run scored. So TrackMan is only able to tell us what the baseball is doing. We need an experienced person up in the press box to kind of instruct TrackMan what's happening. And that's where the team managers and the data analysts come in. I tell my data analysts, you guys go over to that press box, you sit in that press box and you play with that thing. Because if you don't know how your data is being created, you can't do data analytics. So you really have to understand what's going on. So yeah, you've got to have hardware to take this to the next level.
That is so cool. I'm so impressed how you've been able to integrate the technology and all the humans and then leverage the insights for real. So how does that work? Do like all the players and coaches see like your graphs, or just the coaches and then they tell the players what to do? Like how involved are they?
It's in its infancy right now, but we're meeting with the coaches, and he's saying basically, here's what I want. I want to know how fast the ball is going. I want to know how fast where it's moving, and I'd like you to put this on a single sheet of paper. And then what we're going to do is the player will have a pitching session, and that data gets from TrackMan gets uploaded into the cloud. Okay, it goes up in the cloud, and it's a big data set like an Excel spreadsheet. Then our analysts will bring that data down to our studio, and we'll crunch the numbers and we'll make the pretty pictures, and then we send them a piece of paper that's got the summary information on it. And then what the coach does is he sits down with the player and says, all right, here's what we did yesterday. Here's what you did yesterday. Here's what I want to see. And here's what happened. Okay, here's what happened. So when we go out to practice today, these are the things we're going to work on. Now, an experienced coach can watch a player pitch and probably have some insight on what we need to do to make the player better, but this is putting it on steroids. This is giving them real-time detailed information to accelerate the player's trajectory to going from a Division I pitcher to maybe somebody that can pitch in the major leagues.
That's amazing. I think you're setting them up, the athletes to be, or helping them not just to be even better athletes and have more success, but perhaps to be like managers in the future, where they can actually leverage all these analytics to better manage a team.
The coaches are using this as a recruiting tool too. They're a little selfish about it. They'll sit down with a high school kid who may be a good pitching prospect, and maybe we want to offer this kid an athletic scholarship. Hey, mom and dad, here's how we're going to help your son or daughter get better. We can't promise you they're going to pitch in the big leagues, but we're going to do everything we can to help them be the best that they can be. Just come play ball with us.
That is so cool. So that makes us think like, so how much of a say does the analytics actually have in personnel decisions, either at, CMU or in the NFL or MLB draft? Like how much is it actually impacting that?
Like anything, it's a tool, right? It's a tool. There's no substitute for an experienced coach with experienced eyes, but this is a tool to help refine that analysis. If, for example, most major league pitchers can throw mid to upper 90s with lots of movement on their ball. On our team, if we got a player that can touch 90, he's probably an elite player on our team. But how can I tell the difference between a 90-mile-an-hour pitch and a 95-mile-an-hour pitch? No, I cannot. But I will tell you something: the batter certainly can, because that 100th of a second difference in velocity makes all the difference in the world. So it's like any tool that you have. Can a carpenter build a cabinet with a hand saw? Sure. Can a carpenter build a cabinet with a power saw? Yeah, but he can do it a lot faster. That's the idea.
Very interesting. I love the way you explain this, John. Even I get it. And I'm not one that likes to stay at a baseball game writing down all the metrics and stuff like that. What metrics do you think are important for measuring the success of a sports team? Because it's like you're looking kind of at the player level, and then there's like the bigger team level. What metrics do you think are important?
Well, I'm focused on baseball right now. I would say speed and movement are everything to a baseball pitcher. Not only do you want the ball moving fast, you want it moving. I think people have said that the hardest activity in sports is to hit a baseball. I guess the old joke is round bat, round ball, hit it square. But so for baseball, it's movement and velocity. Football, I would say it's accuracy with the throwing, right? A quarterback has to be accurate on their throws. Receivers have to run their routes properly. I think, like I said, we're doing more with baseball right now, but I think every sport has certain measurements that the coaches are interested in, and they're going to have devices to help them make those measurements. And then we are going to use those measurements then to help them develop models and try to understand exactly what's going on. I don't think we're doing anything that the coaches can't already do. We're just trying to help them do it better.
I think that's great. When you bring up a good point, we talk about artificial intelligence or AI or machine learning or data science. kind of being a co-pilot, for the pilot, so as you said, the manager or the coach or the athlete themselves, they're the ones that are in the driver's seat, but then they can say, oh, what do you think? What other information do you have that I can leverage?
Right.
That's so powerful.
It is. It's incredible how things are changing so quickly. And it's a lot of pressure on these new coaches. The old coaches, they have their way of doing things. I mean, my father wouldn't use an ATM machine. He just didn't like them. Can you guys imagine going to a bank and have demanding to see a teller? I mean, some people are like that, but technology is just coming at us so fast. So I feel I envy you guys out there, you younger folks, because you can pick this up a lot faster than I'll be able to, but just embrace it. It's not gonna it's gonna keep coming and coming and coming. Just embrace it, take it, learn from it, and use it.
Totally agree. And on that note, how do they embrace it? What degrees should they pursue? What sort of internships should they try to get? What
Sure.
sort of things should they try to learn?
It's a it's a people business. You
Mm.
got to get involved. We have a sports analytics club that meets every Wednesday night. We meet with the coaches. We talk to the players. The coaches are connected with the teams. They have friends out there that do things. As far as you know, it it's a networking thing. You can be the greatest programmer in the world. You can have some great ideas, but you got to get engaged. You got to be involved. You've got to talk to people. You got to find out what they want. Right? It's a lot of it's a people business too. So get involved. If you have an analytics club, sports analytics club, join it. If you don't have one, make one. If you don't know how to make one, go see the coach. Say, hey, coach, I'd like to work with you on some stuff. What can I do to help you? But I guess that's the two-word answer I would give you. Get involved. And then the rest of it will take care of itself. You could major in statistics. You could major in data science. You could major in lots of computer science, right? Anything involving technology, you can do this stuff. It doesn't have to be data science, but I would say math skill would be helpful, quantitative skill would be helpful, knowing a programming language would be helpful. If you have those things, you can do this stuff.
Well, John, this has been so inspiring. We're all like, chit-chatting in the back and saying, oh my gosh, I love sports analytics now. So I think you've inspired a lot of people today, and you're going to do it over time, because this will be on our YouTube channel at the National Student Data Corps. Emily is going to be sharing some resources we have so that you can actually, some of the students can look at R&R Studio videos or Python, get involved in data science projects. And I think you're inspiring a whole generation, at all different ages, people who love sports analytics, who've been around for quite a while, and some that want to get into it. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's really been wonderful. And I wish you so much luck. And we look forward to keeping in touch.
Been a pleasure. Thank you, Florence.
Thank you. Bye-bye.